Well guys, I'm going to do another canning video today. I was going to do an experiment, which I've said before I do that a lot in my kitchen, and it called for potatoes. And so I grabbed a 10-pound bag of potatoes and got home, didn't realize it, and I had about 5 pounds of potatoes at home. So I'm going to go ahead and can these. We don't eat a whole lot of potatoes, and especially since I'm going to be leaving next week to head for Lollapalooza and then hopefully on to Arizona, I knew these potatoes would spoil before I got home. And besides, having them canned up will make it easier for the old farmer and for me to travel with. So I just have some regular russet potatoes here, and I've already started peeling them, and they're in cold water. And I'm going to get them all peeled, and I'll be back. Okay, I got my potatoes peeled and chunked up. This is the size I like them. And some people will can them with the skins on. I have done that with some of my homegrown, but I don't like to do that with store-bought. I don't know, how the potatoes were treated or anything. So I like to go ahead and peel them and wash them good. I've got them in cold water, and I'm going to get my jars ready, and I'm going to pack these in. The jars are hot. They're going to be coming out of the dishwasher. My potatoes are cold. I'm going to kind of let them come to room temperature just a little bit. I do worry about cracking my jars if there's too much of a temperature difference. Okay, here's what I've done so far. I forgot to record it, but I packed the potatoes in there, put a half a teaspoon of canning salt, not iodized table salt, either kosher or canning salt, because it doesn't have the iodine and other whatever they use to prevent it from caking. Then I poured hot water over each jar. And the next thing I need to do is to debubble. And never use metal. Use plastic or wood. I have a wooden skewer here. But you want to get all the bubbles out. And you want to leave about 1 inch of headspace. So I'm going to go through and debubble these jars. I've decided to do pints. I used to always do my potatoes in quarts, and now with it just being the two of us, that's just too many. Too many potatoes at once. Plus, again, this will be handy for me to take a few jars when I'm out traveling. So anyway, I'm going to debubble all of these, and okay, I've debubbled my jars, and I don't know if you can tell, but after you do that and get those air pockets out, you may need to add a bit more water to bring it up. 1 inch is this bottom ring here. By the way, guys, this is called Raw Pack. They recommend that you blanch your potatoes, and they say it sets the starch so you won't have as much, your potatoes won't be so starchy. I've done it both ways. I prefer it this way, maybe because I'm so lazy, but my potatoes aren't as mushy, and I haven't noticed any difference in how much starch is at the bottom of the jar. And so what? I'll just dump it off, rinse it with fresh water if that bothers me. Anyway, what I do is I put my, go over here, and I have a kettle with hot water, and I just pour that over the potatoes. You've seen me do it before, so the next thing I'm going to do is wipe the jars, clean this off. At the same time, you want to make sure that there's no cracks, because if there's cracks or chips, it's not going to seal. And you can either use warm water or a damp cloth, a dry cloth, whatever, anything to go around and clean that off. For this, I'll be using a damp paper towel. Okay, I'm going to be using my Tatler lids. I have wiped off the tops of all the jars. My Tatler lids have that rubber ring and then this plastic lid. You just set it on like that. Screw a regular lid down onto it, ring, tighten it finger tight, and then back off just a little bit, because the when it's building the pressure and getting this canned up, the lid needs to be able to raise up and down to let the air escape and create that vacuum or pressure. So I think I've got one jar I'm going to use a standard lid on, because I always give my mom canned goods for Christmas, and that way she won't have to worry about saving my Tatler lid. Tatler lids are much more expensive, but I figured it up one time, and I believe after 2 uses, it's paid for itself. And I have used mine for several years now. Probably time to get some new rubber rings, but so far they all look pretty good. And I'm very pleased with them, very pleased. So let me get the rest of the lids on and I'll be back. Okay, I ended up, what was it, 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 pints. My canner holds 9 pints of potatoes, and I've probably got at least that many left. So I'm going to go ahead, if y'all remember, put the lid on. I've got it on high, and I'll be back. It'll be the same thing. It's got to steam, that steady stream of steam for 10 minutes, but I'll try and remember to show it to you. Okay guys, we are now venting out, you can see, the steam, and I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. You want to vent a steady stream of, excuse me, a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes, and that's to make sure that all the air and everything is out of the pressure canner before you start processing. I'm going to set that now, and I'll be back when I get ready to put the weight on. Okay guys, my 10-minute timer just went off, and now I'm going to place the weight on the vent. And this weight has 5, 10, and 15 pounds. For my altitude, it's 10 pounds. So I will put that on there and wait for it to start jiggling. And then I'll be back and tell you what I do next. Anytime you can, guys, make sure you know what your altitude is. That's very important. And I think the really high altitudes are 15 pounds. But I've always lived where it's 10 pounds, so that's really all that I know. So I'll be back. Starting to jiggle. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat down. And for me, it's between medium and low. I have a gas ring. And when it begins to jiggle like that, approximately 4 to 5 times a minute, I'll know that that's right. And then, since I'm canning pints, it's 35 minutes, 10 pounds of pressure. If I had quarts, it would be 40 minutes, 10 pounds pressure. And this is for potatoes only. So, I'm going to get my, make sure I get that adjusted. Until right now, I turned it down too low because it's quit jiggling. If it quits jiggling, you're going to start your timing all over. So make sure you've got it set before you set your timer. Okay guys, 35 minutes is up. I have turned off the heat underneath the canner. And now I'm going to let it set and come down to pressure on its own. You do not jiggle the pan, move the pan, take this off, immerse it in water, anything to get it to come down quicker. You could break jars. So I'm going to let it set and come down, and it'll probably take about 30 minutes. And I'll be back. It's been 30 minutes now since I took it off the heat. And I've already checked the weight, but I want you to listen to this so you know that it's not time. You don't want to do this, but listen to the sound. Now, could you hear that hiss? You could hear the steam beginning to escape, and that means it's not down to pressure. So we need to let it set a little bit longer. This could take as long as an hour. Okay, I've got them out of the canner. See how they're still boiling in the jars? That's good. That'll help create a better seal when it cools down. With the Tatler lids, when you take them out, you tighten the lid down really tight. And then tomorrow I'll take it off and they're cooled down. I have one that has me concerned. This one back here. I don't know if you can see, but it's bulging upward. I've never seen that before. So I'm not touching that one till it gets cooled down. I'll see what's going on. Okay, I'm getting ready to put in another canner full. And that'll probably be it. I'll let you know what I end up. Alrighty guys, I'm done. I did a couple of quarts just because I was tired of finding little pint jars. But these will be good for when we have company. And I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pints of potatoes. So anyway, thanks for watching. And if you haven't, subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks guys. See what tomorrow brings.